Welcome to the Grant Writing Simplified podcast. This is the place to learn how to make a big impact in your community through grant writing and nonprofit consulting. The world needs you to step forward as a grant writer and use your skills to lead with confidence. I'm Teresa Huff, former special ed teacher turned grant writer and nonprofit strategist. In my 20 years of freelancing, I've helped nonprofits triple their funding and exponentially increase their reach. Now I'm stepping up to mentor freelancers and nonprofit leaders like you who are ready to take your skills to the next level. It's time to get intentional about your vision so you can create lasting change in your community. Learn the skills and strategies you need to become the grant writer the world needs. Let's do this. Hey friends, welcome to episode 73. If you're like me, my schedule's kind of out of whack and wonky this time of year with the holidays and people around, which I love, but it means a little bit different routine. So I'm just going to do a quick episode today to help you think through some things to wrap up the year and start strong going into 2022. If you are ready to unleash your skills to make a massive impact on the world, then let's get you on the fast track to grant writer. The fast track is a VIP small group coaching experience where you will learn how to be the go-to grant writer in your community. This is everything the books won't tell you. It's like Miracle Grow for grant writers. You can fast track your income and your impact. Join me today to start learning and taking action at teresahuff.com/VIP. The last couple of weeks, we've been talking about the importance of both learning and action, and they really do go hand in hand. I challenged you to do this back in episode 71, and then last week in episode 72, Courtney Vrablik of the store was such a great example of this for leading a nonprofit. Now, at the end of the year, I like to take some time to reflect and plan, although with people around the house, for me, it often spills over into January. Last year, in episode 18, I gave you 6 questions to help you reflect on your year and to look at your priorities going into the new year. You can also download that worksheet from today's questions in my freebie vault at teresahuff.com/free. After you're done here, go back and listen to episode 18, but to quickly recap, those 6 questions were, number 1, what went well this year? And number 2, what didn't go so well? Number 3, what was draining? Number 4, what was energizing? Number 5, what do I want to do or be less of? And number 6, what do I want to do or be more of? Now today, in addition to those 6 questions, I want to issue you 6 challenge questions. Now these are designed to give you some food for thought as you consider your next steps and reflect on the past year and look at the new year ahead. Are you ready? Buckle up because these are going to be a little deeper. Number 1, if something didn't go so well, ask yourself, was this a failure? Or is it an opportunity to redirect my attention? Sometimes things can seem like a failure or we really blew it in the moment, but over time we realize that was a blessing in disguise. So maybe step back and think about that and look for the silver linings in those situations. Question number 2, what's not being said? In other words, where do I need to step back and read between the lines in certain situations? Maybe it's your work that you're doing, maybe it's a relationship, maybe it's an opportunity. What is it that's not being said that you need to observe and pay attention to? Number 3, this is kind of related. What am I ignoring? Or what am I overlooking? And with this question, you might need to be okay with getting just a little uncomfortable when you uncover the answers. Is there anything that you are deliberately ignoring, or that maybe you just are overlooking that's right in front of you that you really need to pay attention to? Question number 4, am I overthinking in proportion to the importance of this situation? I read the book Soundtracks this year by Jon Acuff, and he talks about if we say, oh, I need to just flip the switch and turn it off, I need to stop worrying, we're actually setting ourselves up for failure because it's impossible to completely shut it off, and we're bound to mess up. We're bound to blow it. But instead, if we turn down the dial on those negative words in our head, on the overthinking, and just turn it down, then we can be more successful and control the outcome of that. So think about it. Is there an area that you are really just overthinking and you're hashing it to death in your head? I tend to do this. But it's helpful to think about that as just turning down the dial so that you can weigh it out and think more clearly and be able to make a good decision moving forward. If something really doesn't have that much impact or it's really not a big deal, then give it the weight it deserves, and that's all. If something's a huge deal, then of course, give it the proper amount of time and consideration and research that it needs. But make sure that you are balancing that out and keeping that in proportion. Don't get stuck in that loop in your head. Question number 5, is it time to learn, to take action, or both? And here's a hint. I'm guessing most of the time it's going to be both. You never know. There may be a certain time for one or the other, but typically the best answer is to do the two concurrently. Question number 6, where do I need to challenge myself? Is there an area where you're maybe getting a little too comfortable with something and you need to step it up? You need to shake off the status quo. Or maybe you need to let something go and it's no longer serving you, it's dragging you down. It's something that is just really not a helpful part of your life anymore. Or maybe there's an area that you really need to double down on what's working or step up and do something that's a little braver or a little out of your comfort zone. So where do you need to challenge yourself going into the new year? I really encourage you to take some time to sit with these questions and reflect. Let them really sink in and think through. Maybe even journal some notes and ideas as you're thinking through them. And I promise you, your year will be better for it. And you will look back and be surprised at how far you've come after you get down the road a little ways. All right, friends, I promised I was keeping this short and sweet for the holiday week, but I just wanted to pop in and give you some food for thought. You can download all of these questions that I read through today in the freebie vault at teresahuff.com/free, and you can print off that PDF worksheet. Let me know what you think. Did this challenge you? And what are you going to do differently this year as a result? All right, my friends, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and I will talk to you soon.